What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where every single week I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original programming that I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the USA Network, as today we're talking Season 1, Episode 5 of Miz and Mrs. I'm just catching up on this now. This past week has been fucking crazy for me. In a great way. I was at SmackDown on Tuesday, TakeOver last Saturday, working and in between, and moving and doing all this other crazy ass shit. So it's been a crazy week. Got around to watching the latest episode of Miz and Mrs. last night. It's always such an easy watch. It's not always the most eventful episodes, mind you. It's a 6-episode season. They just renewed it for season 2, which I guess is coming in 2019. I mean, I guess it would have to be. It's August currently. Season 2 will be coming to us in 2019, but we already have the season finale next week, so it didn't last too long. That's not a bad thing. I did enjoy it for what it was, while it lasted, but this episode was all about Miz having his WrestleMania match, and as soon as he got home, they were on the road to move from Los Angeles to Austin, Texas. So anyway, the episode was called Road Trip Mania. We start off the show with Miz at WrestleMania Access doing his annual signings. Talks about how normally there is no other place he would rather be than at WrestleMania, but he's constantly thinking about his new baby girl, Monroe Sky, and how he would love to be with Maurice and Monroe at that very moment. Meanwhile, Maurice and Marjo being Maurice's mom, are busy moving everything, packing everything up while Miz is away at WrestleMania. Right before WrestleMania, Miz sits down with his mom and the one and only, the true awesome one, if you will, George Mizanin, his dad. Always appreciate a great sighting from Miz's dad. He's the star of this show. I like Miz, I like Maurice, I even like Marjo, but the true star of this show is Miz's dad, George Mizanin. So always great to see him. And he was like, while you guys pack up and take your RV or whatever the fuck, I can watch Monroe Sky. And Miz calls up Maurice about this. And she's like, absolutely not. She goes, fuck no, is what she says outright. So I guess that episode, that idea gets shot down pretty much instantly. Anyway, so Miz goes to WrestleMania. He calls her right before he goes out for his match. And she calls him to not only wish him luck for his match, but also to inquire about how to turn up the fucking volume on a TV they've had for 7 years. She can't figure it out. She can't figure out how to change the volume. That's exactly what I would do if I was living with someone or with my family or whatever. If I can't figure something out, I'm not going to text them. I'm not going to figure it out myself. I might try, but I'll call them up and ask, hey, I don't care how busy you are. I don't care that you're about to go out and wrestle a match for the Intercontinental Championship and kick off the biggest show of the year. The fucking volume isn't working. What do I do? So they got to have him, Miz talks her through it over the phone. It's pretty funny. They eventually figure it out. Miz goes out, wrestles the match, falls short of retaining his IC title, but that was a great way to kick off the show, though. Miz, Rollins, and Balor. Rollins did emerge victorious as the new Intercontinental Champion on that night. Maurice not happy about her husband losing the Intercontinental Championship. So Miz comes home shortly thereafter to help Maurice and Marjo move. It's the big move. It's the big moving day. They're moving from Los Angeles to Austin, Texas. So what they end up doing, Maurice wants the big tour bus. She's not all that enamored with the idea of doing everything with Miz's RV or whatever the fuck and whatever. That would be much more logical and a lot less expensive, a lot more inexpensive, but she doesn't like that idea. So what they end up doing instead, Maurice wants a tour bus. So they have the tour bus coming to the house, but the issue is that it can't come to the house. It won't fit down the fucking driveway. So what they have to do instead is take all of their shit and including the dogs and the cats and the baby and everything else, and the mom, and Marjo, and Maurice, of course. She just had a baby a week ago, and she's fucking walking half a mile with her kid and all these pets and their cages and the cat. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. They have to walk half a mile to meet the bus somewhere else. They're already an hour and a half behind schedule. They have to get to where they're going by 9 a.m. to meet the movers at the new house. So it's already off to a pretty shaky start here. Despite that, they get on the road. Like I said, they're already in deep shit from the start of this thing. Pun intended, because the baby's pooping. They got to take the dogs out every once in a while to go poop and whatever. But the baby's pooping. The dogs are farting. They're having diarrhea, so it stinks on the bus. Miz takes the baby poop and puts it in the freezer because apparently it freezes the stench. Why the fuck you would take your kid's poop and put it in the freezer of someone else's tour bus is beyond me. I love The Miz, and I can't even justify that. That was absolutely stupid. Really, really dumb. So anyway, they run into more problems with the dogs and the fucking baby poop and everything else. They leave shit behind. They forgot biscuits and all this other stuff. The diaper genie. So they say goodbye to the house. They're already on the road. They mess with Marjo a little bit. She kind of puts them a little further behind schedule. She takes more stops than needed. So Miz moves the tour bus and she can't get back on. So they're already having that. They're already teasing tension here between Miz and Marjo. They're already not on the greatest terms here. And then throughout the night, the cat's making noises for whatever reason. Eventually, what happens is that Miz establishes that they have to be at the house by 9 a.m. And then by accident, they find out that they left Marjo behind. So Miz went somewhere to go take the dogs out or something. Maurice had to go change the baby. And Marjo said, I'll be back because I had to go to the bathroom. Maurice thought that she was going to the bathroom on the tour bus. Instead, she left the tour bus to go pee somewhere else or do whatever. So they leave, and Marjo calls Miz and Maurice from presumably the bathroom. But it's not the bathroom on the bus. She's like, yeah, I'm outside right now. And Miz is like, holy shit, we left her behind. So I don't know how long after that she took off. I mean, obviously, they couldn't have imagined that she would have been in the bathroom for like 5, 10, 30 minutes, whatever. So it must not have been too long after, assuming this is all real, which I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's all staged. But in reality, I would hope that it would not be more than a few minutes when they realized that she was gone and that she wasn't in the bathroom when you don't hear her making any noise. Anyway, they go back for her. Marjo is pissed. They get over it. They're back on the road. As if that's not bad enough, the fucking bus breaks down. The bus breaks down. Miz is like freaking out. We can't get to where we need to go by this certain time. So what they do instead, they get a car pretty much, like a glorified Uber, pack it up with all their shit, with the dogs, with the cat/cats, however many pets they have, Marjo, Maurice, Monroe, and Miz. And they go from there to Austin, Texas. Now, I guess where they broke down, which was in Junction or something like that, Texas, it was a mere 2 hours out from where they were going, so getting a car wasn't really all that illogical. But still, I mean, you would rather be in the bus and not have the fucking animals cramped up in the car. But they got there, and that's when the episode ends. So a pretty uneventful edition of Miz and Mrs. It was fun for what it was. It was really all hijinks. I didn't write down a lot of notes here because it wasn't like a lot of deep stuff. Unlike other editions of the show where it was like the baby being born and all this other stuff. No real life lessons here other than just they've run into a lot of problems on the bus, whether they're staged or not. It was entertaining. I liked the show. Like I said, a quick, easy watch just like that. So I liked it. Again, you're not really missing much if you don't check it out, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And that does it, folks, for today's edition of WWE Network and Chill with my review of Miz and Mrs. I will be back next week to talk about whatever airs on the network after Raw this coming Tuesday, so stay tuned for that, in addition to the Season 1 finale of Miz and Mrs. coming next Friday right here on the channel. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.